4 on our agenda, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for January 2nd, 2024. If there are no questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Schilling. We have a second by Member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Number 5, 6, and 7. I'd like to pull number 6, please. Does anybody wish to pull any other item? If not, we need a motion to approve. Let's try this a little better here. We need a motion to approve on the consent agenda, number 5 and 7. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 6, I wanted to pull. It's to consider the resignation of Assistant Public Works Superintendent Joe Keating from the Public Works Department effective January 23rd, 2024. I know Mr. Keating is not here. I wanted to thank him if he's listening tonight. I wanted to thank him for his service to the city of Wyoming, for the great work that he did here in the city, and he will be greatly missed. But we do wish him well onto his next adventure. Mr. Linwood, is there anything else we need to do
No,
for
I
this?
just second, Mayor. I just want to thank Mr. Kidding too. He was hired for this position and, as you know, opted and acted in our acting superintendent role, something that I don't think necessarily was something that he felt he'd be doing in that position, and did a really good job. So we're thankful that he was here and for the time that he gave the city. The only other thing I would add is if you do accept his resignation, to also authorize the advertisement for the assistant public works superintendent as well.
Okay, I'll move to accept the resignation and also to approve or authorize the advertisement of the assistant public public works superintendent. Do we have a second?
I will unfortunately second that.
We have a second from Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, so approved. We're on the knowledge receipt of reports of officer boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 8, 9, 10, and 11. Is there anybody who wishes to pull a report? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications. Number 12, results for the radiochemical monitoring Wyoming City County, Chisago County PWSID 1130018. Is that Mr. McFarland? Is that you, Mr. Linwood?
Mayor, I can handle that item.
Okay.
Mayor, members of council, this is just a communication from the Minnesota Department of Health, as they do every year annually. They monitor the radium in our wells. This is just an updated one where they monitor those. We do have one well, as you know, that we're allowed only to pump so many gallons of water out of it due to the radium that is existing in it. We must adhere to that agreement we have. These are the updated final reports. We have forwarded these to our engineer, WSB. They continue to earmark it and watch those radium to make sure there isn't anything that we need to take into consideration for future infrastructure improvements. So it's just a communication that we receive and necessary to have it go before the council.
All right, any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. I see a discrepancy between both samples.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I see there is a discrepancy between the samples collected in May and the samples collected in July. One was like combined radium. May was 5.1 picocuries per liter, and back in July, it's up to 6.3. Do they vary that much all the time?
Madam Councilperson, I have not reviewed these. I just received these as well, and I passed these along to our water engineering staff, and so we'll review those and certainly add those. If you recall, we had a pretty detailed presentation where we provided some trend lines and where things were at and how they were trending. We have not analyzed that. We have not completed that work yet. We just received it, but I think Mr. Linwood just wanted to provide it as he received it, but we certainly will add that and certainly report back when we have an opportunity to review that.
Okay, because when you're reviewing it, can you also look on the final report, the second page, they have a sample and a duplicate for gross alpha, and the discrepancy between the sample and the duplicate is like a lot.
Okay. I can certainly look at that and follow up with the Department of Health and verify those questions and report back in the future to the council.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Number 13, the 2024 Street Project Neighborhood Meeting Notice. Mr. Erickson, is that you?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of council, as you're aware, we were previously authorized to prepare a feasibility study. We've been working on some of the front end things as we look to prepare that feasibility study. Before we complete that feasibility study, we always want to meet with property owners and get their input and understand the project a little bit more from their perspective, whether or not there's drainage concerns or anything else that they feel should be incorporated in that feasibility study. So this is a neighborhood meeting where we discuss the project, the scope, the process, our assessment policy, and get feedback from them. And so that is scheduled. We've sent that mailing out for a week from tonight at 6 p.m. here at City Hall.
All right, any questions? Seeing no questions, thank you. We'll move on to old business, number 14. To consider a July 2024 budget work session meeting date for the 2025 budget. Mr. Linwood?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of council. This was an item at our annual meeting earlier this month. The council discussed that there may be a conflict on one of those days for one of our council members. So staff did review this, and we are recommending that we move this budget work session to July 16th, 2024, at 5:30 p.m. With that, I can stand for any questions.
Okay. Any questions from council, starting with Member Yeager?
No questions, thank you.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
Member Onstead?
No questions.
Member Luker?
No questions.
All right, and I'm assuming we'll all be able to attend. It's just before a council meeting.
Yep.
All right, do you want us to,
Just please make please make a motion
Yeah,
for that
please make that
July
motion. Okay.
16th budget work session at 5:30
Sorry.
p.m. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
we need a motion to approve the July 24th budget work session for July 16th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Onstead. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. New business number 15, to consider resolution 240108, a resolution approving a final plat D 23004, Katie's Glen, location Goodview Avenue between 255th and 258th Street. Applicant Dahlquist Land Holding LLC, property ID 21.10140.00. Mr. Weck.
Yes, Madam Mayor and council members, Katie's Glen came before city council almost a year ago, or just over a year ago, with a different owner. So Dahlquist Land Holdings is a new owner of the property. They're providing, or applying for the final plat. Next slide, please.
Oh, there we go.
It's located along Goodview Avenue between 255th and 258th Street. It had a plan unit development, master development plan for the lots and the lot layout. Plat approval was last January. Next slide. Showing the plat. Currently there's a wetland. There'll be a wetland impact that has been approved. There's 39 residential lots, and there'll be a continuation of Goodwin Lane out to Goodview Avenue. It's showing again the final plat, the style of houses that they're looking at putting out there, some villas. The plat hasn't changed substantially from the preliminary plat. Next slide. This is again showing the roads. What looks like a trail going around the pond is actually a maintenance roadway for taking care of the stormwater pond there. So it's not a path, although I'm sure it'll get used as a path. Next slide. So this is showing the grading and erosion control plans. It's kind of hard to see, but it might be a little easier to see in the packet that you have. They made the building pads a little bit smaller. This will allow them to, we're going to go through the tree preservation along erosion control, silk fence line, and try to see if we can save a few more trees, but there are trees along the whole border that will not be impacted. Next slide. The Planning Commission has recommended the City Council approve the final plat with the conditions listed in the resolution.
All right, the applicants are here tonight if anybody has any questions. Let's start with questions from council. We'll start with Member Luker.
I have no questions.
Member Onstead.
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
Member Yeager?
No questions.
All right, we need a motion to approve Resolution 240108, a resolution approving a final plat for Katie's Glen. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. Number 16, to consider the addition of a dog park to be located next to the Wyoming Police Department, Public Works Department, 7665 Wyoming Trail. I believe Mr. McFarland is going to be speaking to us about that.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor and Council, as you all know, the PAC is constantly looking and discussing ways that they can improve the community through a variety of improvements to their amenities or the addition of new ones. The addition of a dog park is something that the Park Advisory Commission has been having at least me look into since I joined the city in September of 2023. However, it also dates back to the 2022 Park System Plan. If you remember, that was put together by the Joint Park Board. And that did receive public input, and a park board was listed as one of the most common requests for a new amenity to be added to our community, or just any amenity actually too, because it mentioned parks as well. The proposed park project is suggested to take place at Town Hall Park, which is the lot, the green lot next to the existing public safety building. And it largely consists of two components, and that's the addition of a gravel parking lot, which would be connected to the existing paved lot at the public safety building, as well as the actual dog park itself. Looking at the numbers specifically, the gravel parking lot would be 4,560 square feet, and the dog park is roughly about half an acre with 340 feet of fencing to be added. That would be achieved by two contractors, Cyclone Fencing and True North Contractors, and they said they could get it done in 1 day and then 2 days for the gravel parking lot. And then along with the construction, the Park Advisory Commission with this project is suggesting the addition of 3 park amenities as well, that being a waste station, in which case pet owners could get their dog bags to pick up after their pets, a waste receptacle, you need somewhere to put it, and then a rule sign at the entrance of the park that would just state exactly what was allowed at this park and the expected behaviors. The PAC is also proposing this as a summer amenity that would not be maintained in the winter, so it would be locked during that time.
Okay.
With that,
Great.
any questions?
Awesome. Just a couple of questions for me. Are we going to put any type of benches there just for people to sit while their dogs are running?
That wasn't a discussion, at least through any of the meetings we had on this, but it certainly could be.
Okay, I might attend the next one when it comes up as a resident and ask that question. And then I think you did ask the question or answer the question regarding when it will be open. And then will our staff go out there and mow the grass?
So we currently contract, I don't know the name of the mowing, Swenson's. So we have Swenson contractors for the mowing, and then they would achieve that as well. So they take care of that lot much like they do now.
Okay, and the waste bags, will that be coming out of the park board budget?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. I
Thank
just thought I would put that in
No,
there
yeah.
and ask that question. So, okay, and any possibility of any type of water feature out there when the dogs get thirsty, or any type of, some parks you go to, there's a lot of little play dog, I don't own a dog, but play stuff for the dogs.
From the discussions that we had throughout the meetings, it seemed like it was just going to be the empty field for the dogs plan, but
Okay.
again.
Maybe down the road.
Yep.
Okay, sounds great. That's all my questions. Member Schilling?
No questions.
Nope. You gonna bring your dog there?
No.
No. Okay. Member Yeager?
All they do is bark.
Okay, so you say you don't want to maintain it in the winter. What will it take to maintain it? Because winter lasts a long time in Minnesota, and dogs still need to run. And I don't see why, if you don't have any benches in there, why you couldn't let the dog run through the snow.
I think one of the concerns is the waste of the dogs producing, is that going to be maintained in the winter? Was one of the big concerns. And then also, as that snow starts to melt, that used to be a swamp, and so it does get flooded, and that just becomes a big mud pit, it sounds like. So avoiding that, if possible, would be preferred.
Well, then in that case, you could just close it a little bit in the spring when it's a swamp.
All possibilities, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Member Luker?
No questions.
And Member Ronstadt.
I think one of the things that we discussed was the possibility that we would look into having it open all year round.
Yep.
It kind of depends on how it goes to start with. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
Just to point out, Member Onstead is also the liaison for the PAC. So just thought I'd point that out, because you know that.
Thank you.
So, all right. I guess I asked everybody. So we need
Oh, I did have one more question. The money's coming out of the park development funds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we need a motion to approve the addition of the, one more question. Are we gonna keep it that park name, or are we gonna change it to something else?
This was something that has not been discussed in the PAC, and actually something I brought up to Administrator Linwood recently, and nothing is at least spawned from that conversation, but it was something that I thought.
I like the name, so I was just asking.
Yeah.
Just in case. Okay, we need a motion to approve the addition of a dog park to be located next to the Wyoming Police Department Public Works property, 7665 Wyoming Trail. I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Last on our agenda, number 17, to consider resolution 240109, a resolution to approve the purchase of a 2024 F-350 Super Crew chassis for the Wyoming Public Works Department in the amount of $53,063.86. Mr. Linwood, you'll be
I will be
discussing this?
handling this. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Presented to you tonight is the approval of purchase of a 2024 F-350 Super Chassis. This would be to replace the unit of 905. This is a fairly critical item within the fleet for the utility department, as it is often used to repair sanitary lift station pumps and other necessary utility divisions. This was budgeted in the 2024 utility plan. And like I said, once again, it serves a critical mission in that fleet, along with the duties that it does. This is just strictly for the chassis, as right now, as it has been with many of these vehicles, we are not guaranteed that we will receive it, but we are at this point holding off on the proposal for the outfitting and actually still working on getting all those numbers together. But if we were to order that and we don't get that body or crane this year, it might not necessarily match with the same version of this truck. So we want to wait until we actually hear on actually that we have, our order has been accepted on that truck before we go forward with the rest of the outfitting of that. So this right now, we're looking at service time, or excuse me, time on this for service bodies are 18 to 30 weeks. So this is, once again, just for the chassis. So we are just requesting the council approve this purchase for $53,063.86 from Boyer Ford, and I can stand for any questions.
Mr. Linwood, did you say this was in our budget?
It is in our budget,
It
yes,
is
the
for
utility
this
budget.
year.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And what is it coming out of the Public Works, or?
This would be the capital out of our sewer department mainly.
Okay.
Yep, out of the sewer capital improvement fund.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Questions from Member Yeager?
What, do you have an estimate on what the outfitting will cost?
I do not have that yet. I know that they're working through that. I believe, I have to look at the total number on this. I believe it was, I need to, actually, I don't even want to say, can't remember what our total budget number was on this, but I know that we're hopeful to have that number from you soon. I know that Mr. Ketting is working with a few different companies on this, but it would be within the budgeted amount. Like I said, I just can't remember, but based on the cost of this and that outfitting, it would fit within the confines of that budgeted amount. He did do due diligence before we put that number into that water and sewer utility
Okay,
study.
and all out of the sewer reserve?
Correct, or capital,
And
correct.
what do you plan to do with the old truck once you get the new
It
one?
would go to auction,
All right.
public
Thank you.
auction. You're welcome.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
Member Onstead?
How long out are we looking? If the bid's accepted, we outfit the truck, what are kind of our timelines?
I think on this particular vehicle, it is a higher demand with the F-350, so we would hope we would have something by summer. That's kind of our hope right now. We hope it's sooner than that. As noted by Mr. Ketting, it does take, for the service bodies, a significant amount of time as well. So we'll just kind of, like I said, play it by ear, and hopefully that our order is accepted and that we can move forward with that purchase. But unfortunately, as we've seen with the 550 that we've ordered now for the third time and we're still waiting for, we're hopeful that this one turns out a little better. So I wish I had a better response for you.
And we anticipate the 2014 lasting at least long enough to,
Yes, yeah, I think it'd be fine. We, this truck, there are mechanical problems with it, but The 550 actually probably being worse than the one we're waiting for, but this one, yes, in its life cycle right now, it is operational, and they are still able to use it for those different operations that they have.
All right, Member Luger?
My only question was the timeline for outfitting, so I think that's been answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so we need a motion to approve Resolution 240109, a resolution to approve the purchase of the 2024 F-350 Super Crew chassis for the Wyoming Public Works Department. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. All right, we're at the point where we're at council reports. We are going to start with Member Luger.
I have no report. Thank you for attending.
All right, Member Schilling.
No report. Thank you for anybody watching and who attended.
Right, and Member Yeager,
No report, thank you for coming, and thank you all for watching.
right, and Member
I
Onstad.
attended the Park Advisory Commission last Monday.
All right, thank you, and I also attended the EDA meeting and the Planning Commission as well. So we appreciate everybody staying tonight. It's nice to have people in the audience. We appreciate people watching as well, and it was a big night for the city of Wyoming with our new police officer. So it's been a long time coming. So we are very excited to have that. So with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at